Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Janet Yong, and in my channel I share about Feng Shui, Bazi, entrepreneurship as well as personal growth, especially from the areas of communication success and motivation. In today's episode, it will be a continuation of the auspicious and inauspicious sectors for the year 2023 from the Feng Shui Flying Star Formula perspective. And in today's episode, I will share with you how you can protect your family members, your health, your relationships, as well as how to avoid accidents, being in aggressive fights, legal issues as well. And if you would like to find out exactly which date it's suitable for carrying out some of the auspicious activities like looking for a job, signing a new agreement, opening up a new business, please watch to the end of the video where I'll share more about how you can do this. In this segment, I'd like to share with you how do we choose a good date. For instance, to move house, to start your new job. See you in the next segment. Hi, welcome to this segment of the Feng Shui 2023 auspicious and inauspicious sectors. Now, for today, I will be sharing with you what are the inauspicious sectors for the year 2023 and how you should protect yourself or guard against doing certain activities in these particular areas. Now, before we start, if you have not watched my 2023 auspicious sectors, please click on this link here and then go and watch that first, because in that video, I actually share about how you can identify the direction as well as the sectors of your home. Just a quick recap, one of the ways to basically look at what are the different sectors within your home is to stand in the middle of your home. And that's what I'm showing in this particular slide here, where you take the compass, take the floor plan, mark out the maximum width, maximum length, and stand in the middle to identify the sectors itself. Now for the year 2023, the inauspicious sectors are within the southeast sector, which has the quarrelsome and argumentative energies, the east sector, which has the illness energies, as well as the accident, aggressive energies within the northeast sector, and the Misfortune 5 yellow star is within the northwest. Now, how does it look like if I were to plonk these various different energies and sectors into a home floor plan? So this is an example of a apartment floor plan after we have marked out the different sectors where we measure north within this particular apartment itself. Let's move on to then look at, for each of these sectors, if I want to look at protecting the occupants or what we can do to basically suppress or reduce those afflicted energies itself. In the last episode, I talked about the productive cycle, where we will utilize it generally for activating or enhancing the auspicious sectors. Now, let's take a look at then if it is actually an afflicted sector, what would we do? Most times we'll start off with basically the exhaustive cycle, which is shown by the dotted arrows within this chart. So in this case, basically metal exhausts earth, earth exhausts fire, fire exhausts wood, wood exhausts water, and water exhausts metal. Now, sometimes when the afflicted energies are pretty strong, we can also consider using the destructive cycle, although this is not something that I like to use because it generally involves the clashing of elements. So it is then represented by the gray arrows. In this case, you can actually utilize, for instance, metal countering wood, wood countering earth, earth countering water, and water countering fire, and fire countering metal. So that's how we can utilize this in terms of the destructive cycle. For this year, the most inauspicious sector is that of the northwest sector. And why is this the case? It is because this has the Misfortune 5 yellow star. Now, Misfortune 5 yellow star within the northwest sector generally means not so great energies for people occupying this part of the home. So most times if we want to exhaust the 5 yellow, which is that of the earth element, we will use the metal objects For instance, you can use the colors of white, silver, gold. You can also use metallic items like the 5-element pagodas, or some of my clients, what they do is they have metal dumbbells. This is what they will place in this. Now for the northwest, it also represents the patriarch. So especially if you are the father of the family or an elderly staying in this part of the room, it is best to avoid this area, especially when the monthly and daily 5s go into the Misfortune 5 yellow star as well. Now how do we know that? I will share a little bit more when I go into the last part of this video, where I talk a little bit about date selection as well. Now the next sector is then the northeast sector. The northeast sector this year actually has the accident, theft and metal related injury star, and in this case, if you look at the floor plan, it is actually the bathroom. So usually where the 7 accident star is, you need to be very careful, especially if it is a wet area and you have an elderly staying there. So the accident star is that of the metal element, and within the northeast sector, which is an earth element sector, these 7 star is actually pretty strong. So it is definitely good to basically ensure that if you have an elderly, the toilet is not too wet, because it can cause them to slip and fall. Of course, you can also use the colors of blue, black, gray, which lessens the metal element itself, and if you need to put protection, you can use protection as well. Now if it is actually your bedroom, sometimes the 7 star not only brings about accident, but it also brings about aggression. So therefore you can be a little bit more angry as well as callous because of the 7 star. The next star that I would like to talk about is that of the quarrelsome star. Now the quarrelsome star number 3 is in the southeast sector this year, and southeast is also that of the wood element. Therefore the southeast sector can be quite argumentative this year, especially if it is a family area. So it's important not to use this area to do discussions or to sign any agreements which can bring about objections and people disagreeing with you. The argumentative element, which is that of the wood element, can be lessened by the fire element, as I mentioned earlier on, with the colors of red, pink, orange, protection, or usually harmony items like mystic knot. I'm going to leave a link here that you can actually go to the 8 Treasures website, where you can see some of these cures as well as the colors in more details as well. Then one of the last areas is that of the east. The east area actually has got the illness star. Now in this case, if the east illness star is in the kitchen itself, unless it's where your stove area, more or less is actually suppressed. But if it is your bedroom, then since the illness star is that of the earth element, it is crucial then not to use the colors of fire or earth, for instance like red, pink, orange, yellow, beige, brown, that will cause it to be worse. Instead, use the colors of white, use the colors of green, which are generally that can curb the illness star, or of course you can put protection items as well. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to leave the link to the website where we actually have a little bit more about how you're going to cure this particular area. Of course, if you can, you should avoid these sectors as well, especially the Misfortune 5 yellow star, or if you are generally a person that gets depressed easily, avoid the argumentative sectors of the southeast and the northeast. And if it's your bedroom, what do? You just don't do main activities there, but go in to sleep when needed. This is another floor plan which showcases where are the various different sectors. So the Misfortune 5 yellow star in this case is actually outside the home, but part of bedroom 4, so the occupant in bedroom 4 needs to be a bit careful there. Then you have the northeast at the main entrance. This is crucial because everyone will be utilizing the main door, so this year be a little bit careful, especially if you are driving. And the quarrelsome star is actually in the living area, and the illness star is part of the kitchen where the stove is. So therefore, for certain months, it might be better not to cook too much, especially with the open fire stove. Right now, what I'd like to share with you are the 3 critical areas that you should not do knocking, drilling and renovation in the year 2023, because from my experience over the last 2 decades, I found that a lot of issues happen when family members are unaware, or people are unaware. They go and knock cut and drill in this particular areas, which then leads usually to 3 unfortunate things happening within the next 1 to 2 weeks. The first is that of the Misfortune 5 yellow star. So do not underestimate the 5 yellow star. Besides not spending too much time there, it is critical for you not to cut, drill in that particular sector, and this would mean even shredding papers, cutting nails, and cutting papers as well, especially if you are cutting paper continuously. Now this year, the Tai Sui is actually in the East 2 position between the degrees of 82.6 to 97.5 degrees. So it is then crucial, besides not facing the Tai Sui direction within this particular angles itself, it's also not to cut within this particular sector in your home or your office, as the common saying goes, 不要在太岁头上动土, meaning not to cut or knock at the head of the Tai Sui area. And for this year, it is within the East 2 position between the angles of 82.6 to 97.5 degrees. And the last one is actually the West sector, which has the 3 killings. Although the West sector has the heaven luck and good relationship star this year, it is crucial to observe not to do cutting, knocking, drilling, and digging in the 3 killing sector, and for protection against people backstabbing you or going behind your back, it is then crucial not to face East, because then you have West behind your back. So this actually comes to the end of this segment where I share about the 2023 inauspicious sectors. If you have missed the first video on the 2023 auspicious sectors, please do remember to go to the video description to click on the link to find out more, or visit the 8 Treasures website to read about it more. So in this particular next segment, what I'd like to share is actually more about date selection. In this segment, I'd like to share with you how do we choose a good date. For instance, to move house, to start your new job, or to start a new business. Usually it's based on the Chinese Almanac, where you can basically, for instance, in this particular case, see that for the 15th of February itself, it is actually from under the 12 officers day, it's a full day. And for today, it is actually a good day to sign agreement, to do official opening, because it's full, you want people to come in, and some of the other suitable activities as seen here. And what are the activities that you should avoid, it's also listed here. You should not do demolition or renovation or get married. Now, it's interesting why you wouldn't want to use the full day to get married, generally speaking, because you should only have one marriage but not so many others. That's why normally we don't use the full. So in one of the later episodes that I'll share, I'll talk about date selection, how do you use the date, what you can do with it. You can also see from the horoscope forecast itself a generally good and bad day or average day. So if you can also utilize this part to select as to whether this is a good day for you, an average day. If it is an important date, you will not usually want to choose. For instance, today it is bad for the horse, for the tiger, as well as the dog itself. And again, if you scroll further down, there is actually the hour forecast that talks about what are the good hours, what are the average hours, and what are the bad hours that you can do. In this last segment here, I would like to showcase to you, for those who have bought the 2023 annual forecast, this particular flying star sector even goes down all the way to the day flying star, where it is good to spend time and do certain activities. For instance, for today itself, the north sector is excellent because it's highlighted in green, where you actually have got very good annual, daily, and monthly stars. Whereas the worst sector to be in is in the east sector, which is highlighted in red. So this is what you will be able to see if you basically subscribe to our Almanac for this year. And currently we're offering a special offer, so if you would like to, you can go to this link that I'm showing here, else you can go to the link that I'll leave in this video description itself. Thank you for taking time to watch this particular video till the end. I'll see you in the next episode.